Politically speaking, there are some states you always watch out for, and Edo is one of them. Today we turn our attention yet again to the build-up to the Edo 2024 governorship election. And as you can see, we have with us the Executive Director, Canvassers for Democracy and the Rule of Law, Mr. Olu Martins, joins us right here in our Lagos studios. Good to have you on the program.
Good morning, thank you. Good to be here.
Quite a number of issues have come out of Edo State, and for a lot of people, well, it's like a repeat, really. It's like a cycle you can almost predict, like a deja vu. But let's talk specifically about the deputy governor who has formally indicated his interest to succeed Governor Godwin Obaseki as governor of the state come next year. I mean, you are close to the governor. You're on his side, as it were. Tell us, is the governor excited about this?
First of all, I'm a friend of the media simply because it was Patrick Henry that said, and I say this all the time, that the collective freedoms of a people, especially as a nation, can be guaranteed until the actions and inactions of government is put in the public glare. There are things that government would have wanted to do. When the media brings it up, they will rescind their decision. So I would always doff my cap, in this case, in absentia, for the media, and especially for channels, because of the topical issues that you bring to the matter. The emotions of the governor is unnecessary. And the reason is because democracy is rightly defined as the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. The governor is an individual, and he rightly has one vote. So how the governor feels about the declaration of his deputy, as far as I'm concerned, is immaterial, because he is an individual. He doesn't have to like it, in a manner of speaking, because the deputy governor has a right, constitutionally speaking, to aspire.
Is that to say he doesn't like it?
That would not seem to be the case, Mr. Martins, because on the day of the declaration, the venue that the deputy governor wanted to use was somewhat...
I'll get to that.
That move was truncated.
Well, incidentally, when I was coming, the owner of that venue is a big fish, in a manner of speaking. He was senatorial candidate of PDP in the last election, so he's not a small boy. And he's not a small boy in several ramifications. He's not somebody to be intimidated, because I heard the deputy governor is a top government functionary. That's anonymous. Anybody can make any claim, all right? If you had given us a name, we probably would have understood. But because I like to... Maybe I'm just nosy, I called the owner of the venue, and the guy said, this is what happened. They are taking funds from the deputy governor's team for that venue. Then they took funds for another pro-government team for the same venue. He's chairman, so he doesn't run day to day. He came and said, I said, no, this is a private investment. I don't want a clash here. You know what? You take your money back. You take your money back. So the pro-government event did not hold. The deputy governor's event did not hold, so that there can be a balance. If you say this pro-government own should not hold, you will look like he's siding this person. If you say the deputy governor's own should not hold, it will look like he's siding. So you just say, you know what?
This big fish was not threatened in any way.
No.
Because that's the feedback that you're getting from the deputy governor.
You just need to go and ask who Matthew Duikeme is. He's the owner of the place. He's not somebody that you can trust. He's been in, and besides, he is a friend of the... If he wanted to play politics, he would have come out outright. He won't act the ostrich and put his head in the ground and say, I'm being threatened. Who can threaten Matthew Duikeme in...
Why should we believe you, Mr. Martins? How can this man turn down, funds for an event that will be held by the governor?
If you don't believe me, then you shouldn't believe deputy governor too, because they are both claims. If the deputy governor says that he was turned down from the venue, you don't believe him. If you don't believe me, I'm telling you that I spoke to the owner of the place, and a notice came up too that there was going to be, I think it was Governor Obaseki finishing strong in the same venue. It was in the public domain, all right? They were going to hold it there too. On the same day, one for 7:30, one for 8 a.m. And the owner of the place said, I'm not going to have a face-off in my hotel. I know how much, and he has said the office is good for him to work with. It is instructional to note, sir, that this is not the first time in Edo State that a deputy governor will want to succeed his principal. Comrade Adams Aliu Oshomolik said it in public that for reasons whether he was right or wrong, he didn't support his own deputy, Pius Odubu, when Pius Odubu wanted to succeed office with him. And of course, naturally, politics is about contestation. Power is not a stroll in the park. I'm not sure that, apart from supporting him, I'm sure he didn't, give him the structure, the space that he needed. But we didn't see all of this during Dr. Pius Odubo's time. We also saw the same thing with Chief Mike Ogiadume. He wanted to succeed his principal, Lucky Benedium. And we didn't see all of this for us. So my worry is the fact that supposing it is even there that the governor even comes out openly, even if he has not said so, because all the things that we're hearing is from the deputy governor. We have not seen any action. We have not seen anything from the governor's side that suggests that he doesn't want his deputy governor to contest. It is his right. My problem is that you're not the first deputy governor. Why must you think that the roof must come down because and then you must constantly paint a picture? I'm telling you that Ogiadume, Pius Odubo did not receive the support of his principal, and he made it abundantly clear. But Pius Odubo went about it maturely, because you must first of all get the ticket. I would expect that the deputy governor will move around the rank and file of the political party and not, heighten tension within the state, because you don't have the ticket of the party yet. When you have the ticket of the party and then the governor does not support you, even though now that you have the ticket of the party, then you can say, okay, I don't have the ticket of the party. But the real issues are not just what the deputy governor is saying. The real issues is the fact that the preponderance of opinion and the sheer plethora of interest in the Edo state tilts comfortably towards those who are in the Edo center. Those are the real issues. I do not want us to divert from it.
Okay, Mr. Martins, so you say that the governor is not supporting him?
I didn't say so.
Well,
I was just saying that the governor has not said whether he is supporting him or whether he is not supporting him.
Is the governor supporting him?
I don't know whether the governor is supporting him. There is no act. Shakespeare said,
giving
amongst men by which cannot
you just alluded to him not having the support of the governor just now.
I'm saying that it's not necessary for him to have. I'm saying that it's not necessary that whether the governor is happy or not, the mood of the governor, the emotions of the governor, is not necessary for you to aspire for office.
Let's go over to Abuja studio. Mokwe has a couple of questions for you, Mokwe.
Mr. Martins, I'd like to first of all know if you have a problem with the deputy governor, Mr. Philip Shaibu.
No. Incidentally, myself and the deputy governor, my father and Comrade Philip Shaibu were in the NAS movement together. We met. I was SUG president in 1999, and he was president of the NAS. He used to come to my room to change. He dropped his bag constantly in my room. We have fought several wars together at several levels. We were both comrades, even almost in the same generation. We talk constantly. So I have no problem with him. I think he has the capacity. I think he has the history, and I think he has the experience. My problem perhaps is with his methodology. My problem perhaps is the fact that he may be running against the tide, against public opinion, because like I mentioned just now, the preponderance of opinion is that most people think that given the political balance and sensitivity of Edo State, power should go to the Edo Central, the Esan speaking people, and the deputy governor coming from the Esako, especially the Uzaire clan, where Comrade Oshomole had been there for 8 years as governor. He's been there for 7 years now, counting as deputy governor. People are thinking that, look, for the priority of the state, power should go to Edo Central that have had the short end of the stick for 24 years since democracy came to us in 1999. It is methodology. It is determination to whip up sentiment and to heat up the politics. That's what I have a problem with. We have had two deputy governors who didn't receive the support of their principal, and then we didn't have all of this hoopla. That's what I have an issue with, ma.
So would you say it's in terms of how it's been handled? Because you do know that there's been a recent political history before now. We saw how the current deputy governor and the governor defected from the APC to the PDP, and the circumstances under which they left, and also the fact that now it doesn't look like all is rosy between the governor and his deputy. And it would seem that is as clear as day. Is it something that worries you when you look at, you have said that the governor hasn't said anything or done anything, but certainly you can tell when two people that used to be very good friends are no longer friends.
Yes, what's this one we're reading about the tortoise? The tortoise was an animal that people just painted as the fact as not being, friendly. If you orchestrate a crisis, and it was Martin Luther King that said violence for violence leads to a violent conflagration in which both parties will lose. It is the orchestration of this crisis, the first salvo that was fired was from the deputy governor when he went to court. And the circumstances of emergency is important, because when the deputy governor and the governor moved into the PDP asked for the office of the deputy governor to be ceded to it. And the governor made it abundantly clear that you will go with your ticket if I cannot take my deputy governor along. Don Pedro Obaseki has given us an expose as to how that happened, because he was physically there. So for a person, and that happened in Sokoto, Tambuwa ceded the deputy governor to the party. Gabriel Suswan ceded it. No, was this Gabriel Suswan of Benue State now? The immediate past governor of Benue State ceded it to the party. But in this particular case, the governor was stout to say, look, I am going to go with my deputy governor, Comrade Philip Shaibu. So you would have thought that that kind of defense, and even when the immediate past governor, now the FCT minister, took a swipe at the deputy governor. I remember when he said, who is his father? The governor took 3 pages to defend the deputy governor. So me, I thought that their romance was watertight and nothing was going to break it, until I saw the injunction by the deputy governor that he was going to be impeached. And for some of us, we knew that there was no impeachment. Is not a day thing. It's not done nocturnally. There's a process to it, and we hadn't known that an impeachment notice had been brought to the court. So it came as a surprise. So for me, it looked like deputy governor is fired the first salvo, is fired the second salvo, and is consistently firing salvo. To me, it appears that this is his methodology. I listened to what the deputy governor at that time when they were campaigning said about Comrade Adams Aliu Oshomole, where he literally called him a psychiatric patient. I listened to that, and I listened to several swipes that he took over. And so for me, it appears that this is his methodology. I just want to advise as a young man, because if you say that you are young must not always mean that we must do things in a brash way. We can also be calm about it. We can be strategic about it and communicate our interest to those whom our interests reflect in. If your interest doesn't reflect with the preponderance of opinion, where most people think that the Esa-speaking people, for which I'm one of them, should have power, who not having had power for 24 years, it doesn't mean that you must now bring down the roof, because it looks like you are going against the popular opinion of the generality of the Edo people. That's where I have issues, and that's where I want to perspective it. All the other issues for me are just throwing dust in the air. The core issue is the fact that people are agitated, that Edo Central has not had the opportunity, and they should have the opportunity this time. Philip Shaibu is from Edo North, is from Esako. Esako cannot claim to have not had a fair share of representation. I'm glad that your husband is also from Edo North, because the immediate past minister is from there. The present minister is also from there. The senator is from Esako, and Uzaire clan especially has enjoyed power in a plural state, in a sensitive state that has 3 tribes.
Those issues and trying to bring clarity to them. But you are from the canvassers for democracy and the rule of law. So my question to you would be, which is more important, that the people of Edo State enjoy good governance, or that a governor is coming from one place or the other? Which one should we be canvassing for more?
No, absolutely. Good governance comes ultimately. But good governance is not the prerogative of a senatorial district. There are people who have the capacity and the capability, the ability and the stability to deliver good governance in the 3 senatorial districts. If it was about good governance, if we're talking simply about good governance, perhaps we'll not have the present president. But I know when the president says, as far as Nigeria is concerned, power, the fact that we must have power position is already a gentleman agreement. So good governance is not the prerogative of anybody. Good governance can come from any part. My organization sits for fairness. I'm a pastor. I sit for equity. I sit for justice, apart from being a civil society activist.
So, Mr. Martins, the question there will be, what would you be asking of all of these people who are vying for the #1 seat in Edo State? What are the things that the people of Edo State should be looking and expecting from them?
We will be expecting that the person wants to aspire to be the governor of Edo State must have demonstrated capacity in his own individual space. He must have distinguished himself as an achiever. I'm a little bit weary of those who have lived off Nigeria's rent, who have not done anything successfully outside the political arena. I'm a little bit weary of that. I am more comfortable with those who have succeeded in a private estate. Because if you succeed in little, the chances are that you will succeed in much. That's the kind of thing I want to look at. I want to look at somebody who has a rich academic background, who has had exposure. The reason is because young people today are clamoring education is a scam. And we can't leave that kind of idea in their mind. We must let them know that the more educated you are, the more exposed you are, the more you have the capacity to understand the yearnings and the aspirations of the people. Those are the kind of things that I'm looking at. Above all, I'm looking at somebody who has empathy, because without the connectivity, the collectivity of empathy, you can't lead the people. Like they say, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. How much you have helped other people in the private space, in the darkness, will demonstrate to us how you can help other people when you are given the opportunity to preside over public patrimony.
Well, we have to anchor, but just to quickly ask, are you then asking that the deputy governor abandons his ambition? Should you want him to step down?
No. I mean, I wish I could, because nature has been kind to him. He's transversed the length and breadth of Edo State.
So do you want him to step
down?
down?
Of course not. Look,
right.
Let me quickly say, Archbishop Idahosa has said, if you have a desire, do not retire, but refire to acquire your desire. But go by it solemnly.
Okay.
Go by it maturely.
Well, we have to anchor at this point, but there's a whole lot to discuss about this, because some will say if Governor Obaseki had not done 8 years, then perhaps Edo Central would have had their own 8 years. So now we have Edo South doing 16 now, Edo North 8, and still Edo Central hasn't gotten. But the conversation is out there.
That's subject to, like I said, we can't.
So they will ask if you were this, agitated then.
Edo North has done 24 years between governor and deputy.
This is particularly about governorship.
No,
that's what you're clamoring for.
We call it joint office. It's not joint ticket.
No,
you're clamoring.
Your quest is that Edo Central gets the governorship.
Even at that, Edo Central is this short change. They have only done 20 months in the advent of this 1999 to now. Just 20 months. Even at that, it is still an imbalance.
Mr. Martin, the people do not view power sharing as you're viewing it between governor and deputy. The governor's office is the big deal.
I agree. I agree. But even at that, Edo Central is still short change. About 20 months.
We have to go now. I'd like to thank you so much, Mr. Martin, Executive Director, Canvassers for Democracy and the Rule of Law. Thank you for your time, and wish you the very best. Well, let's take a look at some of the mails that you have sent in this morning. Let's begin from, well, this particular mail is from, is on FG's borrowing, and it talks about the new borrowing plan of the federal government after the removal of a fuel subsidy, and the attendant suffering of the masses broke my heart. This is a mail from Dixon Eka saying that today we have an extra large federal cabinet with 48 ministers, and almost every ministry having a deputy minister. And you can see all of those concerns raised by Dixon Eka this morning.
Well, this one is from Professor Inakena. Very quickly, he says, government must pursue the diversification of revenue sources. This is particularly of fact. Federal government must invest in the agriculture sector, which is rural-based and peasant-driven as it is now. We must invest intensively in commercial farming. He also says government must secure our farmland, especially the tens of thousands of ungoverned spaces in the north can be used for commercial agriculture. Thank you, Professor Inakena.
And Festus Akimboyewa says now that the 2024 appropriation bill has been presented to NAS, our legislators must ensure that the budget to give our children and youth long-time opportunities to thrive. The increase in the amount of budgeted for education and health should be applauded. We want to see effective investment in human capital development, and that's what will give our young people a pathway to success. Indeed. Well, indeed, we have to thank you all very much for sending in your feedback. So sorry that we can't take much more.
Indeed. So the pathway to success is what we're all headed to. So your feedback, indeed, we appreciate. We can't take all, but thank you so much for letting them come in. And thank you for letting us be a part of your morning. Go out there and do the best you can to be a part of where we're going, the path to success indeed. I'm Neota Igbe.
I'm Maupe Ogun Yusuf. Thank you.
I'm Bukola Koka. Bye for now.
I'm Kairo Kikilu. Thank you.